Hey YouTubers, I'm going to do a quick video on a little tutorial on how to make a very simple pair of earrings. If I can get a better angle of this. Very simple pair of earrings. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use the blue lace agates. This one here is rose quartz, and it's just 8mm bead. The rings are 14 gauge, 3/4 inch, and the small ones are 16 gauge, 732. That's these guys here. There's 3 of them. So you're going to need 6 of these and 4 of these, 2 beads, 2 bead caps, your ear wire, and a couple of head pins. So we got head pins here. So what I just do is I just take these are just little bead caps. So what I do is I'll take the bead, string it on, my head pin. These caps are optional. I mean, I like using some of them either on the top or on the bottom. It all depends on what you like. I've done it both ways. I've had them on the top and on the bottom. So basically I got my cap on there. So I'm going to readjust my lens here so I can see what I'm doing. So you take this, and then what I take is the basic tools are just your couple pair of chain nose pliers and a round nose pliers. So what I do is I come in here real close to the bead and just make a bend. You got a bend in there like that. And I take my round nose. So I already got it marked as far as the size of the wire. So I just measured the wire and figured out where that was on here and marked it to where the rings will, or these large wires will fit on this. I don't know if that made any sense. So you take your round nose pliers, you line it up. Yeah, this is a little better. So I just kind of lined it up here. Then I take the wire and go away from me over the top of the round nose. Roll my pliers and then bring it back underneath, and then I roll that loop to where it's going to sit right on top. I want it lined up. I want it lined up with my bead there. So basically sitting right on top. And I take and I kind of straighten this out a little bit once I get it on there. I hold my loop and I kind of straighten out that wire just a little bit to where it's at a 90-degree angle. or actually straight across. So now I got this little space in the middle here, and that's where I'm going to do a wrap. I'm going to take this wire and wrap around that. So one thing I learned about doing this kind of the wrap part of it is you take your wire, go way past, you're kind of going past your pliers, kind of like going towards your hand, so it gets in real tight to the bottom of that loop. And just wrap around. I usually do 3 wraps. Three wraps is good. And I'll take my cutters, and I use the flush side of the cutters. So the flush side is facing your wire, or the end of where you're going to cut it. And snip that off. And come in here. Normally I'll grab a hold of it so I can, because sometimes it kind of moves around. And I'll grab a hold of it and tuck that tail There's other tutorials out there that show a better way of doing this than what I'm showing you, but at least you got the idea. Yeah, just kind of line it up, make sure it looks straight up and down. Make a little adjustments if I need to. So you got your bead and you got your loop on there like that. Here's one of them. Let's do another one so we can do a little faster. You get the idea. You just want to slide your bead on there, slide a cap on it, whatever you choose. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ones out there. Slide the cap on there. Come in with my chain nose, grab a little right close to the end of the bead, bend it. I bend it towards myself. And then get in with your round nose pliers. Line it up with your mark. And I go away from myself to come down. Roll my pliers. And then come up underneath to where it's tied up against the bottom here. And just kind of roll the whole thing to where it kind of sits up. You want it to sit right on top of your bead. And come in with any chain nose pliers will work to grab a hold of it. I just happen to use a square nose. And I come in and I kind of overextend past, you know, your pliers that are holding it, and I just continue wrapping 3. Down wrap. Come with my cutters. Snip it off as close as I can get it. And just tuck that little tail in there. So and it spins on you. You can get it tighter to where it's not going to spin. I just kind of did a loose one. I'm just readjusting the loop to where it's going to sit right on top. So you got your loop on that one. Okay, we got those two done. Now comes the easy part. Okay, if you got your large rings, you need 2 of them, and 3 of your smaller ones. And what I like to do, I'll go ahead and make this part of it up. I'll take 1 small ring, and I have 2 other ones closed, and just loop them on there like that. Close it. Okay, you get that one, and we'll do the other one too. That way they're both ready to go. Okay, so we got those guys set up. So now you take your large ring, open it up, I'll take one of my units with the 2 on there. I'll slide one of them on the ring, slide the bead on there, and then grab hold of that other one, let's try that again. Okay, you got my 2 rings. Take that bead out there for a second. Slide it on one. Get in one there. Slide my bead on there. And then grab it was so much easier when I did that way. Let's try that again. Slide a ring, bead, and your other ring. Why is this not cooperating today? Okay, we're going to do it the other way. Scratch that idea. Okay, we got our ring. And we can put the bead on there. Close it. Actually, we'll leave it open. We'll leave it open. You can close it or leave it open either way. You just have to, if you left it closed, you'd have to open these large rings, or these smaller ones. Okay, I got one on one side, one on the other side of that bead. Close it. And then these 2 rings here, just grab a hold of it like this, with that one ring. Close that one. So basically you got your one ring holding the two and your beads in between them. Okay, you got that one. Let's do the other one. Let's take this part here. Yeah, this is a little easier. Okay, put one ring on, the bead, the other ring, and close it. Okay, and then we got those two rings again. Grab a hold of it with the other small one. Close that one up. See if we got that again. So now you take, now that we got those, you take other two large rings, open it up a little bit, and you just hold on to the single ring, and you want to grab in between. It could be either side of your bead, doesn't matter. Just grab a hold in between those. Close it. Grab your single ring there. And we'll grab us an ear wire. Open that up. Slide that single ring on there. And close it. And there you got your ring. So we'll go ahead and you can adjust the bead. Sometimes it kind of hangs, kind of wants to lean to one side. Just kind of get in there and give a little tweak. Just make sure your rings are nice and closed good to where it doesn't slide out. I think this one's called the bird cage. I just call it double crossed angle. Because I'm crossing the large rings, and I got dangled in the middle. I think technically it's called bird cage, maybe. I don't know. So now the other one, we got our bead in the middle, and the two rings on either side of it. Take out the large ring, open it up, and just pick any spot you want in between those rings that you got there. It doesn't matter either side of that, as long as you're in there with those other rings. I'll close that one up. Grab a hold of the single one, let it all hang down. Grab your ear wire. Open that up, slide your single top ring on there, close it, and there you got it. Very simple to do. I mean, that's got to be one of the easiest earrings to make. And what I use to determine, because I like it, I want some room down here. I always want some room, you know, for that bead to hang. You can have it hanging closer to your large wires if you want. See if we can get a better angle at it. So you can get it closer in here. Have it hang closer to the bead, to your rings if you want. So what I will use though, depending on the size of the ring or the size of the bead, this is kind of one of my things I do. I happen to have, zoom out a little bit, I happen to have something like this, and it has all these holes in it. So what I'll do is I'll just take a bead, put a bead down there, and figure out which size hole I want to use. So I could use that one there, that size would work. You could even go, if you did 18 gauge rings, it would work. But I just want to make sure I got enough room for that wrap. You know, on the top of here. Just want to make sure you got enough space there, up here, to where you can accommodate that wrap. Sometimes I'll make these up, I'll wrap them first, and then set it in, you know, in one of these and figure out which way I want to go with it. That's how I do it. I just kind of eyeball it. So yeah, that'll work, or go a little bigger. But one thing keep in mind though, the larger the ring that you make, you want to use a heavier gauge wire. The smaller the rings, you can go a lighter gauge wire. I wouldn't go any lighter than 18 gauge if you do these. If you go 20, 22, it's too thin a wire and they'll pop loose. They'll come apart too easily. So I usually use 18, 16, and 14 gauge wire. But that's how I determine the size of the ring I'm going to need, the 4 big ones. And the smaller rings, you can use whatever you want. I just happen to just pull out a drill bit, roll some wire up.